welcome to the 2025 PWR final. If you feel a little stunned to find yourself at the season's pinnacle already, then that is only fair. It's been a sprint of a campaign, and what a lot we have crammed into the last 162 days. History, agony, ecstasy, sorcery, sheer theatre, all culminating in a breathless photo finish. It's been some ride, and we've not even had the best part. There it is, Sean Lynn's final selection as head coach, the run-out 15 who thwarted Bristol a fortnight ago, and the same back line who scorched their way to a second title at Sandy Park last June. The formation has an essential spine. Neve Jones's abrasiveness, Zoe Aldcroft's warrior mentality, Alex Matthews' quietly world-class exploits, Mo Hunt's tenacity, and Emma Singh's lethal ability to both slalom and sharp shoot. If you were handed a napkin and asked to doodle on it Saracens' most menacing 15, here is exactly what you would scrawl. Up front, 𝗟𝗶𝗃 gets the start in the sole change to Alex Austerberry's semi-final lineup. Marley Packer and Poppy Cleall live for occasions like these. And May Campbell's campaign statistics are so good, they look like typos. Zoe Harrison has the boots, the smarts, and the icy veins to station this black army in all the right places. No doubt about it, these sides are in peerless form right now. The rightful and ferocious finalists now stood, flexing both their history and their sizable muscles ahead of what might just prove the most titanic closing number we have ever seen. Weight categories don't go big enough for what a whopping title fight this is. This lot thrive in rarefied air, and their default campaign setting is all-conquering. No other teams have topped the table at the end of a regular season. The PWR trophy has been lifted on 6 occasions, and on 5 of those clutched by these very captains. Red Roses skipper Zoe Aldcroft, who might just brandish 3 major trophies this year, and Mo Hunt, the irrepressible ringmaster of this circus, who haven't lost a game since November. And Lottie Sharp in her 5th final for the Londoners, who says that she is hungrier than ever after a couple of seasons as a livid bystander. And of course, Marley Packer, who somehow finds even greater levels of intensity as the stakes rise on days like these. 8,000 have gathered here for the grand finale, travelling en masse by coach from Kingsholm, hopping on the 221 from Mill Hill Tube, or strolling through leafy Barnet towards 80 decisive, thunderous, history-making minutes. It is cool and crisp in North London. The champions wear cherry and white, and the women in black? You guessed it. Tasked with keeping things above board in this amphitheatre is Joe James. His assistants are Alex Thomas and Callum Howard, and it is Dan Jones with all the angles in the TMO truck.
Marley, yeah.
It all comes down to this. Gloucester-Hartpury versus Saracens for the right to call themselves the Queens of English Rugby. Let's play. The champions playing from right to left. 𝗟𝗂𝗃 George's kickoff and 𝗟𝗶𝗃 from the base, picking out Marley Packer, who just 12 months ago could call herself the World Player of the Year.
Okay, lost now 2. Let's go, please, back.
And an early indication of the ferocity we might expect in this one.
Tackle!
Poppy Cleall with a short and bruising carry up towards that 10-metre line. And 𝗟𝗃𝗃 shapes for the kick, hoists it high, and end over end she tumbles towards Emma Singh, who's caught that one cleanly and then half pirouettes through the half gap. Hunt to Muir. through the hands now. The two co-captains in quick succession there, Hunt and then Aldcroft, and then Hunt again. George with the skip pass. She's found Mia Venner, who is seemingly non-stick this campaign on the far touchline, but up goes the flag. And it's time to welcome in the two World Cup winners alongside me, Emily Scarrett, but first, Rachel Burford.
Good afternoon, everybody. Very excited for this one. What a mouth-watering prospect we've got this afternoon with the two best teams in the PWR going at it, and already seeing Gloucester-Hartpury's intent to play to those edges nice and early.
Lost forward at the line-out, scrum.
Yeah, it's an interesting start. We've spoken a lot in the build-up around the potential kicking battle, and we saw Saracens just take their time, making sure that they were happy with the build, happy with the exit. But then actually the outcome was almost Gloucester-Hartpury attacking pretty much from where that initial breakdown was. So it's something to definitely keep an eye on. And Rachel and I were just having a little chat. We're not quite sure which direction the wind is blowing. It tends to circle here at the Stonex.
If it's possible to have an omnidirectional wind, I think that's what we've got today. It's cyclone-esque here. And our first scrum. Immediately, of course.
We need more stability pre-ball, please. Okay, let's settle over the mark.
Before our referee, just to remind you of our front rows. 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝐽𝐻, May Campbell and Kelsey Clifford to your left, all in black. Elle Perry, Neve Jones, Maud Muir, 6 internationals, 6 bruising operators.
No, just wait a second. Thanks.
And Hunt will feed. 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝐽𝐻's George's hands are up in anticipation. They get this in and out so crisply, do the champions, and so it proves again here. George with Heard on her shoulder, and off she trundles. Sophie Bridger, formerly of that parish, with the tackle, and now Mia Venner scything and stepping, finding the inside line. It's juggled and on to Kate Williams, who will fire up the scoreboard in the 2025 PWR final. First blood to the table toppers.
But that's the exact start that Gloucester-Hartpury would have wanted. Brilliant work from the set piece. But it's the speed of the breakdown that they're able to operate with. Just allows Natasha Hunt to play so quickly. Saracens just cannot get organised. Lovely inside ball there from 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝐽𝐻 George, recognising the overchase, and then the link-up play. George Evans trying to get in that passing channel. But what a brilliant start.
Try's good.
And over to the league's top point scorer, Emma Singh, 5 from 6 last week. Oh, the drama of it. Off the woodwork, it will remain a 5-pointer.
Yeah, she'll be slightly disappointed with that, with the stats that she has. But Rachel mentioned it, the speed of that breakdown. Saracens will be worried about the threat that Gloucester-Hartpury pose out wide, so they've really got around the corner fast. They're protecting that outside, but in doing so, they've left that vulnerability on the inside really well exploited.
Singh looking to make amends for those 2 errant points, and so she does off the restart. This is when Gloucester-Hartpury do something they like to call cashing the check. Speaking to Dan Murphy, forwards coach, in the week, after they score, they don't consider the conversion a good one, whether or not it sails through the uprights, until they are back in the opposition half. You score it, you cash it, and then the job's a good one. No Hunt slicing that one, and the bounce falls the way of Alicia Corrigan, the Canadian, the Olympic medalist, placing that one back cleanly so that Kelsey Clifford can carry. What a shot, a pile driver there from the Red Roses captain, Zoe Aldcroft, obliterating the Canadian flyer. Slower ruck ball this time for 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. That better, that crisper, but Tatyana Heard just gifting possession back to the Londoners.
One hand.
Yeah, no clear line break.
All good, Molly.
So the check not quite cashed, but it's safe to say it was a profitable exchange for Aldcroft there.
Yeah, it was. Saracens just trying to work that edge with a long ball from Zoe Harrison. Alicia Corrigan's so good. But I tell you what, not many people go through Zoe Aldcroft. It's a brilliant start from her on that edge.
It's all back off black.
Messy as you like there, but Campbell quickest to react and able to get that onto Harrison and subsequently 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝐂𝐽𝐿.
The ball's here, the ball's here.
Player of the match in last week's semi-final, player of the match in the final in 2019, and again in the semi-final in 2022. And there she is, finding Jess Breach, who pins her prolific ears back and does what Jess Breach does. She is a showstopper, a scene sealer, and her name is up in lights again at the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Well, how good. What a response from Saracens. Quality move that was practiced this week, brought in as a special play to play back down with Jess Breach on the inside of 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝐿, thinking that she's going to carry, and Jess Breach back to her best with that outside arc and that pace to burn. What a way to get her team back into this.
I love Marley Packer's reaction on the outside, puts her arm up. I'm with you. Jess Breach doesn't need support in a moment like that. She's kicking on the afterburners.
How long did she stay with her?
Zoe Harrison makes no mistake. She very rarely does off the tee, and now feels like a good time to remind you that over the 2 meetings so far this campaign between these two sides, we have seen 165 points. Alex Austerberry likened it to a game of basketball the last time these two sides met at the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Well, if that's the case, if we're in an NBA Finals, this is the Game 7 to end all Game 7s.
Changes line across. 3 changes line, first access, number 3.
Oh, that'd be really frustrating for the coach's box. You just got yourself into this game, taken the lead, and then a simple error cutting across there. We know that that's really being outlawed and really hot for referees to pick up. And we know exactly how strong a driving line out from Gloucester-Hartpury is, one of their biggest weapons. And Saracens have just gifted them an opportunity.
Hold that mark.
Just the 2 tries in the opening 8 minutes. Brought down safely by Beth Lewis. Try scorer Kate Williams off the base, and here goes Maud Muir. Hunt reloading swiftly, and there is a battle worth the ticket price alone. Campbell on Neve Jones. 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗃. And this 𝗥𝗏𝗃𝗃 George just floated that onto Emma Singh, but Jess Breach did more than enough to disorientate her opposite number. Scrappy ball. Scrappier still.
Knock on by Black in the tackle, scrum.
Well, Saracens will be really pleased with that defensive set. You know, they really pride themselves in their defence, putting 2 or more in that contact area, because they know the threat of that breakdown. As soon as Gloucester-Hartpury have got quick ball, forwards coming around the corner, just let everybody getting offline, being really aggressive to try and take away all that time and space for them.
Alex Austerberry stood there, watching over a ground he knows so well. As he said, it's a neutral venue today, but one they're very familiar with. And they've done everything to stack the odds in their favour, given they couldn't have access to their own dressing room today. They've been practicing for the last few weeks, walking out of the away dressing room and turning right, not left, to make it onto the pitch. And no prizes for guessing which of the Wolfpack were particularly thrown by that over the last couple of weeks.
We'll always look.
Well, next week, our attention turns to the UEFA Women's Champions League quarter-finals. We've got every game live here on TNT, including 2 huge clashes featuring English sides. Arsenal's trip to Real Madrid on Tuesday and City versus Chelsea on Wednesday evening.
One information last scrum, just put elbow a little higher, and I'm going to do the same this side as well, okay? Okay, here's our mark. Height, elbow, far side.
Georgia Evans, as ever, that brilliant juxtaposition between the immaculate pink bow in her hair and the split lip that she's currently boasting. playing in front of Siôn Lynn, who of course will be her own head coach next week when she's in camp with Wales. Subplots everywhere you look here as Mo Hunt feeds this attacking scrum. Mia Venner hugging the far touchline, but it's to the open side they go. Hunt with the delayed pass up and onto the captain of Wales, Hannah Jones. Scored in the final last year, scored in the semi-final a fortnight ago, arguably the haymaker that sent Bristol Bears home. Hunt's first little mischievous adventure of the afternoon. So swiftly back onto her feet, and this is Alex Matthews. Tatyana Heard, the defensive lead, but sometimes we talk about that so often, we overlook her attacking prowess. Velvety touches from the inside centre. Nothing velvety about that, Lewis. And then ball smuggled on, and George decides to hoist this one high through North London skies. Oh, brilliant take. Absolutely brilliant from Zoe Harrison. That is world class.
That is a phenomenal take. Potentially into the sunshine as well as she's back paddling over her shoulder. It's exactly what her team needed. This is a brilliant double shot initially from 𝗟𝗏𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿. And then it's this crossfield kicks. Good identification of space. You can see Zoe Harrison there tracking. She's basically blind to the ball flight. Gets up in the air, then has the presence of mind to mark it. What a great contest that is. Hopefully we'll see plenty more of those throughout the game.
Is it still in? Yeah.
Zoe Harrison, who started at Vallis Way up against your Harlequins, Rachel Burford, back in 2018 as a teenager. One of the heartbeats of this Saracens side, a masterful puppeteer. Looping from Neve Jones, more than 15 metres on that one. We just heard on the referee's microphone, and they've incurred the penalty, Saracens.
When you're in the side. Number 2.
Well, we're seeing a lot of variation, aren't we, already off the line out. Just there, a bit of movement, goes to the back where they know that they're going to be able to get that drive on without having the numbers at the back of the line out for Saracens. But again, another infringement.
If you were the first person,
we've talked about it, or many people have talked about the discipline of Saracens and just allowing easy territory for Gloucester-Hartpury yet again to get deep into their 22 and again to maximise their opportunity off this line out now.
After that initial flurry of points, things have settled somewhat, but it's still end-to-end stuff, and that was an almighty throw from Neve Jones. It's bounced up for both of the co-captains. Marley Packer ricocheting off Lottie Sharp, but it's the winger who managed to get Saracens on the front foot ball, and there is no side more dangerous in the women's club game on the counter-attack than the Wolfpack. And a Sings kick bounces off a black shirt.
Sorry, accidental offside, guys. I thought it hit black, but yeah.
What is it that makes Saracens so lethal on turnover ball?
Well, I think you just saw there, it's the ability to react and adapt. They realign, they've got handlers of the ball. May Campbell there right in the midfield, delivering the pass to Jess Breach. And lots of wingers, back three players are all working on that kicking game, putting it in behind, turn that bit of pressure. But I think it's the reaction skills, the ability to adapt, realign yourself, and then having the vision and be able to scan. OK, space is on, let's go to it.
This was a set piece that creaked terribly at the start of the campaign, but a huge amount of work from Maurice Bertha has gone into Saracens scrum, and look at how swiftly that emerged for 𝗂𝗏𝗏. Now Sophie Bridger put so much, too much width on that, and that is a gilt-edged opportunity hurled into blustery London skies.
It's a frustrating one from Saracens. We've probably not seen them really build too many phases, obviously, other than the try that they managed to score. They want to just get themselves into the game. There's a potential good bit of space out there, isn't there? Try and get it out in front of someone like a Lottie Sharp. She'll always make good meters for you, just a little bit inaccurate on that occasion.
Safely down, Matthews, and this is George across the face, bouncing ball, sits up beautifully and offsets Rosie Galligan. And now Saracens have a penalty, and critically, it's kickable.
Yeah, and judging by the players' hair, it looks like they've definitely got the wind in their backs, but back in their line out and going to the corner. As Gaz just spoke about, you know, it is a final. We're in the first 20 minutes. We're seeing some of those nerves, certain things not quite coming together. See 𝗟𝗂𝗄𝐽 George trying to get the ball into that outside channel. Just doesn't quite hit the mark, but now gifting Saracens an opportunity here.
It's really interesting as well, isn't it? Both teams scored really early from punching middle, speed of ball, balls back inside that tight stuff, and then yet have gone to the wide play from there.
Well, there are very few bodies out wide because Emma Hardy and Sophie Bridger have joined this heaving mass of black jerseys. 10 Wolves in and driving and closer still. Referee is going to award a penalty try. 7 points, and critically, it's Mo Hunt who has been shown the yellow card. So Gloucester-Hartpury short of their talisman as they concede the full fat score.
Yeah, it's a big blow to take, isn't it? All of a sudden, you're playing off your own line out to now having a 7-point gifted against you. Natasha Hunt in there. It shouldn't really be her job to be in the middle of that maul. Deemed the one bringing it down. And then automatic 7 points for Saracens. Absolutely clinical. That's what is so good about this Saracens team. They can be absolutely ruthless and their mentality is unforgiving.
It's hard to definitely say that anybody's brought that down, is it? But when they're so dominant and going forward that quickly, fair play to the referee for going straight under the sticks, because certainly where Saracens were headed.
Well, you said, Rachel, you said they had some trick plays up their sleeve. How many times has Sophie Bridger joined a rolling maul this season? I bet that was the first.
Yeah, they wanted to bring a bit more difference to this game, as you naturally would. You want to bring in a couple of different plays that opposition haven't seen, and we've really seen 2 of them come off really well already and come out in 14 points.
Count is fine. Okay, use it.
Steepling from 𝗂𝗏𝗲 and then hurdling Pip Hendy was Emma Singh, who's slow to rise. Might have been clattered there on the full. Saracens, though, with the personnel advantage as 𝗥𝗏𝗄𝐽, the Canadian, carries hard in the midfield. Hardy popping that back onto Bridger, who's her Hartpury-hewn talent, but a woman in black now. Ball's gone backwards. Oh, and it's set up for Sophie Bridger up against her alma mater, finds her captain. Lottie Sharp brings them into the 22. And May Campbell thrashing against the jerseys in front of her as Emma Singh jogs painfully back into the defensive line. Cries of Sarries. How they have longed for a final in their patch, in their own backyard, and they will flex that advantage with everything they have. Hardy finds Galligan over the top onto Corrigan, who is absolutely lethal if you give her an inch. Like a pinball of Emma Singh, and then like a battering ram is Galligan. Picking and going, Corrigan.
Tackle complete.
Whose work rate is just astonishing.
Ball's lifted.
Ball knocked on, big fend from Marley Packer, who has just built a little bit different. Somehow Saracens recycle the ball. We know that no side in the PWR offloads as much as Alex Austerberry's, but all the tricks coming out of the box here as Evans straightens, then twirls and drops. 𝗂𝗏𝗲 with the delayed pass onto Harrison, whips that onto Jess Breach, who's hunting for a second, but selflessly finds Lottie Sharp, who will score. And their captain, fantastic, cleaves over a whitewash that she knows oh so well, but on a day that could scarcely be any less ordinary.
Well, there was so much in the build-up to that, the turnover from the initial kick chase. But when Saracens can sniff a bit of blood, they absolutely go after it. Brilliant little kick here from Sophie Bridger just to get in behind. Initially, Zoe Aldcroft doing all she can, but look at this, keeping the ball alive, staying hard, staying on their feet, and Marley Packer, what a leader. Just when your team needs a little bit extra, she's the one to deliver. But the ability to move the ball to the space, they pulled Gloucester-Hartpury from one side to the other. And a brilliant finish there from Lottie Sharp.
It's almost like Saracens in this last 2-3 minutes since they scored that penalty try and Mo Hunt's left the field. They've just dialed up their energy, they've dialed up their physicality. They've really gone and attacked that last couple of minutes of play and been rewarded.
Lottie Sharp, who I realised in the week has ended half of her PWR seasons on top of a podium. It's an extraordinary record, and one that woman there could match today. She'll be back teaching primary tomorrow morning. Just a little reminder that this might be the best domestic competition in the women's game, but they're not all professional, not yet. Some extraordinary individuals. Harrison, who's growing and growing into this fixture. She loves finals rugby, she says.
Stood up in the way of the line there, Zoe.
She's loving it today. There's another penalty. Goes the way of the Wolfpack.
Yeah, Gloucester-Hartpury just need to find a way to settle and manage this next period of play without their talisman, Mo Hunt, on the field. There's plenty of leaders out there that will be able to settle them. But simple things like that, playing the 9 around the breakdown, giving the opportunity for Saracens just to move their way up the field easily.
Better gap, please, guys, in the middle, on your front. Thank you.
Well, it's
got it.
Statistic that we talk about an awful lot, but for a very good reason, Emily. How about that for red zone efficiency from the, in theory, home side?
Yeah, exactly. And Saracens have been topping the charts for that all season, along with Bristol. Gloucester gets so many entries, but just not been as clinical. So it'll be interesting to see how they go, obviously, as they progress down the field and potentially get more of those opportunities as the game goes on.
Well, it was a stacked short side at that moment there, but now they start to spread it wide. And it's Mia Venner, who played a lot of age grade rugby at scrum half, in that role. While Mo Hunt stands one hand on her hip before our commentary position. Looking a little shell-shocked. Singh picks and goes, and then again to the breakdown is Venner.
But this is where, for me, 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝐻𝐺 George has got to step up. Obviously, they exit a lot through Mo Hunt in that box kick position, but 𝗟𝗏𝐿𝐺 George here has got to take some control and get them down the field.
Ball turned over, and Emma Hardy looks up and sees Tatyana Heard right up in her grill. Wisely dished that onto Senft. 2 tries against Gloucester-Hartpury the last time these two sides met at this stadium. Saracens getting the win that day, as they often do in these parts.
See what happens.
Scrum advantage, going the way of Gloucester-Hartpury, and it's Sarah Beckett with the carry, and then I wonder if that was one extra roll there. She'll get away with it, because there is a penalty going the way of Gloucester-Hartpury.
Again, a bit of a lifeline, as Emily was saying, overplaying a little bit in that third. We've had 2 balls go down, then the ball get turned over. Fortunate for Gloucester-Hartpury, Jess Breach knocked that on, and then there was a penalty conceded after that.
Well, that was a little swing of the pendulum towards the reigning champions, but the recent flow of this one has very much been in favour of Alex Austerberry's side. And he stood by with Ashley. He's going to have a little word with us in just a moment. In fact, it is time. Let's hear, shall we, from the Saracens coaching box, Ashley Wilmot.
Thanks, Claire. Alex, you weren't the team to get the first points on the ball, but that has not phased you one bit, has it, today?
Oh, yeah, it wasn't the greatest of starts. We were losing a lot of collisions, but we gained a little bit of momentum, but hopefully we've not just given it away with that little bit of sloppy play in midfield. But, yeah, we've had a positive bounce from the little early setback, so we'll see how it goes from there.
Just a word on Jess Breach, coming back from injury, looking back to her best.
Yeah, outstanding player. It's brilliant to get her back on the field. And, you know, we know in big games she shows up, and, you know, great try last week and another fantastic line today.
We've seen a few different plays from you already in this game, so have you got a few more tricks up your sleeve?
We'll have to wait and see, but ultimately it's about, you know, making sure we remain physical, winning collisions, and see if that opens up opportunities for creativity elsewhere.
Thanks for your time, Alex.
Alex Austerberry's answers getting shorter and shorter there as Gloucester-Hartpury get closer and closer to what would be their first point since that brilliant opening strike. They've got a penalty advantage to utilise here, so we'll come back for that at worst. attacking with 14.
Right.
Mo Hunt on a bike before us as Hannah Jones delays her pass beautifully, finds Emma Singh, who comes up clutch as she so often does. They really needed that, the reigning champions. And it's Singh who steps up yet again.
But it's great work, isn't it, from Mia Venner, stepping in at number 9, just controlling things. Great ball away there from 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝐽 George. Jess Breach goes for the big ball and all read. But 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝐽 George too skillful to get it away. And then the simple draw and pass to find Singh on the outside. Brilliant composure under all sorts of pressure from Saracens' defence. But what a way, and such confidence when you're a player down and able to get on the scoreboard is excellent.
Yeah, I'll help you out if you need it.
Even tougher than her first. Curves it,
No.
She almost grazes the woodwork there, but the flags stay down. It's 10-19, but perhaps most importantly of all, Mo Hunt will be returning imminently.
And it was brilliant control from Gloucester-Hartpury, led, as Rachel said, by Mia Venner, just on that short exchanges, just getting those forwards round the corner, waiting for that penalty, and then they have their opportunity to try and expose that space on the edge, and they take it brilliantly.
Restart is long and questing, and why wouldn't it be? Force the side with just 14 athletes to play it from deep. Mia Venner shows that she's not just languid, she's powerful too. She's inhaled 15 hard-earned yards there. Pip Hendy at the base of that one. She's got Poppy Cleal for company, and Corrigan too.
Lost now, but 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝐽.
And really rootling for it is Venner, who will look to add to that solitary Red Roses cap, perhaps over the coming Women's Six Nations.
Use it.
Back at the stoop as a 17-year-old under Simon Middleton.
Hold in front.
𝗥𝗲𝗄𝐽 George picks out Breach. Harrison spies acres of unattended space, and with the wind at her back, overcooks that to a crisp.
Oh, you could see the intent. She picked her head up, she saw all that space over on that left-hand side.
Thanks, yeah.
Emma Singh saw Zoe Harrison's attempt and is racing across the 22. She just pulls it a little bit infield, otherwise the 50-22 was on. And if you're a Gloucester-Hartpury fan, player or coach, I'm sure you're pretty happy to see Mo Hunt re-entering the field.
Okay, guys, good to go.
The sound of 8,000 gathered here at the StoneX, braving the cold and the winds. And Hunt's back on. That sin bin having ended 12-5 in favour of the women who would dethrone Gloucester-Hartpury today.
Binds. Far side, pre-engage.
Takes it quickly. That's exactly what she does when she's at her best, just injecting a little bit of jeopardy into proceedings, and she almost caught out sharp. But this, nice from Saracens, plaiting and weaving their way back up the short side, and hay being made through Gallagher. Campbell picked up, driven backwards. What a shot there from Aldcroft. Not said her name for 20 minutes or so.
Use it.
But that's just a little reminder of the physicality that the Circus bring.
That's
The half
accidental
volley
again.
from Hunt.
Completely accidental, it'll be a scrum.
Sends that into Matthews. We'll have a scrum down.
Yeah, that one definitely
As a
won.
brilliant kick from 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝐵𝐵ℎ.
Yeah,
Really
okay,
good
time on.
height, which enables her chasers to be able to compete, just getting in the eye line. Natasha Hunt just slightly out of position, but look at that shot from Zoe Aldcroft. This match is not lacking any physicality, is it? It's all about that collision.
There's no fast
Which
break.
team is going to dominate it the most in this game is more than likely going to come out on top.
And it's a big day for 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝐵𝐵Ⅎ. John Mitchell, the Red Roses head coach, has sat right before us in our commentary position, but this is somebody who's fallen a little out of favour of late. In front of her in the pecking order, there's Mo Hunt, there's Flo Robinson, you could argue, there's also Lucy Packer from Harlequins, but she's capped. She's always had the offloading game and the running ability, but she's just been layering on this season, hasn't she? A bit of control, that box kick that you referenced.
Yeah, exactly. You want to have nines that are the complete package, aren't you? And if there's an area of weakness that John Mitchell has referred back to the players to be able to go away and work on. That's something that 𝗟𝗏𝐿𝐵𝐵𝐼𝐻 has certainly worked on this season, that kicking game. It's not always been about the contestables for her. She's got a really nice little rollers in behind, that ability to just turn defences as well. But yeah, it'll be a really important game for her today, showing that leadership and that composure.
You can see her at the base there, barking orders. And look how crisp that service is. Fine Seft. Whirlwind in a jersey that the blindsiders. And then delaying that pass. Fabulous fingertip stuff there from Hardy, but equally fabulous the line speed of Hunt. It's the last thing you want as you tire towards the end of the first half, is a fresh-legged Hunt who's had time to read the game, assess her options and come back in and have an impact. Harrison with the little half break and then finding Bridger. 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐵𝐻's carry, 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝐻𝐿𝐵𝐻's wrecking ball work. Oh, and then the penalty. Huge involvement there from Venner. Took all the wind out of Saracens' sails.
Pulls it to floor and then gets a lift.
I think the Saracens players are contesting whether or not there was a clear release there. But some brilliant interchanges between the forwards and the backs there in the open channels.
Marley, totally know what you're saying there, but she pulls it down and then gets on.
It's Zoe Harrison. She's so good at that. Everyone thinks that she's a kicking 10. She's not. She's got brilliant footwork. She attacks the line. Fantastic ability to push through and offload there to Sophie Bridger, always on her shoulder.
That's not straight, guys. There's a contest and it's not straight. It's outside the outside arm. No, it's just not straight. Guys, option. Scrum or line out? Scrum.
Let's go. Let's go, Cats, I'm with you. Let's go, Sheena. Let's go, Gabby.
Well, Serie A is hotting up, and we've back-to-back big ones for you after this. Fiorentina Juventus is on TNT Sports 3, before Atalanta take on Inter Milan a little bit later on TNT Sports 1.
Crouch. Bind.
And Saracens, whose lineup was identified by the aforementioned John Mitchell in the week as a bit of an Achilles heel. They opt for the put-in.
Hold, good.
Cleel lofts that onto 𝗟𝗏𝐻s, and they're really spreading this coast to coast. Only Sharps knocks it on.
Sorry, whistle gone.
So we had a monochrome scrum on one side of the field. We will have a cherry and white one on this side.
Just another frustration, isn't it, for both teams? Just like the inaccuracies creeping in. You can see what Saracens are trying to do. They want to exploit that outside channel there, bringing Lottie Clapp off her wing into the back line.
It's an awesome contest so far, isn't it? No one side is getting everything their own way, whether it's at set piece, line out time, in the back line, in the backfield.
Two truly all-court games. Dynamite backs, mulching packs. Puppet Masters at 9 and 10. And 8,000 here for the privilege. Beckett's fend. Player of the match in last year's final. And then Alex Matthews, who sat that final out, making up for lost time. Kate Williams. Matthews once more.
Tackle! Thank you.
Heard in at first receiver, so George is somewhere. There is George, and here now Singh. Hendy finds herself in a one-on-one with Corrigan, and not very many edge those, but somehow
Tackle made!
The left winger has managed to get the offload away daintily infield. Beckett
not a lift.
Taking names, ball in hand, and then George across the face to Muir. Soft hands onto Heard. Now the circus spring and spark into entertainment mode, and it's Mia Venner doing the sort of sorcery we've come to know her for. Options to the short side, but they go wide. Perry. This now Williams. Stopped by Corrigan, who made 14 tackles against Harlequins in the semi-final. She goes and goes on both sides. With no sort of run-up to flex or whatsoever, Aldcroft makes a yard. This now Lewis, the open side for Gloucester, hunting for a score that could bring she has just scampered through an unattended short side and splashed down for their 3rd try of this final.
It was a brilliant team try, wasn't it? So much through the forward pack, getting through the work, playing from one edge to another. How good is this pick-up from Emma Singh to keep the ball alive, and then recycles back, and they just go to work using the pack going forward. But look at the backs here, holding their feet, nobody engaging the line, knowing that defensively Saracens are flying up over the line. No need to engage, just get the ball to the space. Mia Venner with still work to do with a big step off the right leg. And again, and then finds the whitewash. Brilliant team trying from them.
That is 9 tries in Mia Venner's last 9 outings, and right on the eve of a Six Nations too.
It's an awesome finish from Mia Venner, but I think Gloucester-Hartpury are just starting to find, certainly in that red zone, just the real nice balance between when to pull the trigger, when to keep it tight, when to control that speed of ball. And they showed that brilliantly then. This finish from Mia Venner, it's not done. You think the hands are brilliant initially. She's still got to step inside, then put her foot on the gas.
Okay, good.
Get herself over the try line.
Well, it's a concertinaed PWR season, but it's a pretty compressed and undiluted season as a whole, because in 6 days' time, Wales, Scotland, Ireland and France will open their Six Nations account. And in 1 day, more than that, a merciful extra day's rest, John Mitchell's Red Roses will be playing in York up against the 𝗟𝗄𝗎. No time to rest, no time to celebrate. But don't worry, both teams, I've spoken to them in the week, they do have something planned for the fallow week if all goes as planned today. 3 tries apiece, 5 minutes remaining on this first half, and only a pair of Zoe Harrison conversions the difference.
Tackle now, thank you.
Saracens ball in wintry sunshine. Cleal with a little injection of front foot. And wonderful hands from Kelsey Clifford. Oh, the offload from 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗂. So casual, so cool.
And the quality clear out as well to look after the ball in that last one.
We saw it, didn't we, with the very first Saracens try that they scored, and whenever you play against them, whenever you're previewing them, you always have to keep an eye on the work that they do around the breakdown. Yeah, okay. They've got really nice, intricate balls inside, dragging outside. 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗂 is always the one commanding it. There's another example here. She takes off, just that little flick inside. You'll see Lottie Sharp, she's constantly working off her wind, scanning those breakdowns. What a shot from 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗂. Unfortunately, just doesn't amount to anything for Saracens, but always got to stay switched on around that breakdown.
Taxi, taxi. Black, black. Guys, same as for them. Just hold the gap, please. Thank you.
Let's go.
Seeing the flag there, the blustery conditions we're working with today. But safely down from the league's second best line out by Gloucester-Hartpury, who look to compound that score. Beckett up towards halfway. Heard. Cleal.
That was a knock-on in the tackle, advantage.
Knocking that on in the tackle. So, got the scrum. Should nothing come of this.
Yeah, go and knock on.
Sorry, just a knock-on there.
Gloucester-Hartpury, something does often come of things.
Ball's here under your own players.
Carey recently signed an extension.
Still under that knock-on advantage, mate.
Already signing up for another tour with the circus, whatever 2025-26 might hold.
Touched, advantage over.
Touched by Galligan. Not quite the flight that Hunt was expecting, but it's bought them an extra metre by hook or by crook. And Neve Jones gets them up over halfway. Matthews, as ever, just quietly going about her bruising business. Trying to cheat there was George.
12.
But Saracens do exactly what they have been working so hard to avoid. Make it back-to-back penalties.
Yeah, just as Alex Austerberry was talking about, their errors and their discipline have just allowed Gloucester-Hartpury to get so much back into this game and to get those easy territory gains. That's a big miss there for 𝗂𝗏𝗂𝗎𝗏.
Well, as Austerberry said in the week, they're a pretty good team, Gloucester-Hartpury. You don't need to give them any help to get field position or momentum. He said 1 penalty, they're going upfield. 2, they're in your own 22. 3, you're conceding points. 4, you're losing a body. That is how devastating they are.
Yeah, it definitely can be. I think certainly for me, one thing at the moment that's really interesting is this line-out battle. I think we've heard the referee say on a couple of Gloucester-Hartpury's line-outs, not straight, that there was no compete. So for me, if I'm Saracens, I'm putting somebody in the air so that actually you might be able to nick one if, again, it isn't straight. But I'm sure they'll have spoken about it in the week, potentially worried about the maul threat and all the other threats that you've just said in terms of what Gloucester-Hartpury can pose.
To summarise, it's 30 threatening women out there locking horns right now. 41 minutes, maybe extra time to settle this. Getting low, accelerating hard. The Red Roses captain George now finding Beckett with a little basketball offload. Heard to Singh with Bridger and Corrigan to beat, but she's like a crackle of static 𝗟𝗏𝐿 in that moment. Eventually hauled down. But it's tightened the Sarries defensive line, and George has spied that. She's picked out Heard out wide. And the Italy-born juggernaut gets to work. Hunt. Matthews. But Emma Hardy, who hits well above her weight, has slowed that right down. 30 seconds left on the half. Singh. Picking out Lewis, and now this is Venner, who's got time to move through the gears. Dink that indelicately, set off in hot pursuit. Was that knocked on by breach? Referee says no. So crisis averted by the try scorer, by the Sarries fullback. But what about that? As a position with seconds remaining for a Gloucester-Hartpury attacking scrum.
And is that time,
yeah,
Frank,
huge opportunity here.
before?
This is the thing with rush defence. You've got to be able to make sure that you're staying connected, because it does make you vulnerable on those outside edges. Quality kick again from Venner on the outside there. Just changes that point of contact, really challenges that backfield.
Okay, guys,
Jess Breach trying to do all that she can. But there, Bethan Lewis wraps her up, knows exactly what she's doing and knows exactly what can be the outcome for her team. And it looks like Shaun Lynn's pretty happy with that outcome.
What an opportunity now as well. The clock has just struck, so to speak. It's half-time. Next time the ball goes dead, it's Gloucester-Hartpury now have an opportunity to go into the break ahead.
One final throw of the dice for this half, and an opportunity potentially to pick up all the marbles. Venner's out wide.
Okay, it's gone down on the far side.
The full-packed stands. We will reload. See this scrum a second time.
Guys, there's a lot of chat. Higher, higher. Just to say, you've both gone down in the marks, the information I've got, so let's go higher.
It's been a fair contest, hasn't it? And pretty even in the scrum at the moment. We're often seeing Alex Matthews make a big break, but it was really well managed in the previous scrum by 𝗂𝗂𝐿𝐿 and Marley Packer. That last inset, you could see 𝗂𝗂𝐿𝐿 already looking up where's the threat coming from, because they know as soon as Gloucester-Hartpury get motoring in this area of the pitch, it can often end up in a 5-pointer.
All the numbers suggested this one was on a knife edge, would be tight as you like, and that's how it's proving as we hurtle, courtesy of Matthews, towards half-time. So many identical stats, but none of those matter, because the only two numbers which have any consequence today are the two on the scoreboard, and Sarah Beckett fancies sticking another big full 5 points on that one. Here goes Aldcroft. Stopped in her tracks, but it's taken a quartet of Saracens to do it, crouching low and exploding like a gymnast is Neve Jones. Hunt has George and Lewis, 2 Welsh women for company. 6 metres the difference between Gloucester-Hartpury and what would be a 4th try of this final. All over the ball, the side who are the most lethal turnover team in this competition, but they can't get their hands on it. Matthews with another chug. Hunt across the face to Aldcroft. Evans' tackle combining with Senft. Patient play from Gloucester-Hartpury. Will the dam eventually burst at the StoneX? Ball smuggled on, 2 metres in it now. It is pulverising stuff, breathless stuff, and now they go wide. Awful looping pass, can't find Venner. That's what pressure does. And And that will bring the curtain down on this one. North London's resident Wolves return to their lair, and Lynn will address the circus as their head coach for the final time in the heat of battle at the StoneX at half-time in this thrilling PWR final. It is Gloucester-Hartpury 15, Saracens 19. We'd just like to take this opportunity to remind you that Gloucester-Hartpury trailed by 10 at this stage in last year's final, but they produced one of those trademark purple patches, 26 unanswered points, which eventual player of the match, Sarah Beckett, described as poetry in motion. These are two sides capable of scoring in gluts, in flurries, out of nowhere. So, safe to say, we've a 40-minute burn-up ahead of us. 40 minutes to settle this one. And with an unaltered cast, Alex Austerberry and Lynn in his final game in charge, not changing a jot.
Ball's here, ball's here.
27 full internationals out on pitch right now. And a spiral that elicits an ooh from Rachel Burford alongside from George, picking out Harrison, finding breach, try scorer, and then the nice little loop around the defender from 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝐽𝐻. Corrigan sets off in hot pursuit, but Singh has a cannon of a beat on her and almost catches Harrison napping. Singh's profligacy off the tee, currently the only thing separating these two sides. She's missed 3 of her 3 conversions, having not missed that many in a game so far all campaign. In the micro battle between the sharpshooters, it's Harrison who's ahead right now. Well, we saw headbutts in spades in the men's Six Nations yesterday, and anything the men can do, Marley Packer can do too.
Oh, you can just see the frustration in her there. It was a brilliant play by Saracens, really got their offload game going. Georgia Evans threw the tackle, got her arms free, and then unfortunately Marley Packer just couldn't quite hold on to it and kind of threw that, not quite as tight a spiral as 𝗟𝗖𝐿𝐿𝐴 George's, but threw a spiral to show her frustration.
Yeah, sorry, Rachel, I gave away your fangirling there, but it really was quite the ooh at the kick from George.
Yeah, it was a quality quick, isn't it? And anybody who's been underneath a spiral kick, it is really challenging to take, but Zoe Harrison cleared it up really well in the backfield.
Hughes. Sorry, Molly.
Pragmatism queen there, and that from Mo Hunt somehow kept in, but up pops Venner, who is having a barnstorming outing in this one. It's anyone's guess who's got the ball beneath the sea of bodies. It's Gloucester-Hartpury, who score more tries than anyone else in this third quarter. They love this part of a game. And now they've the penalty. At worst, Hunt finding Matthews, who finds no way through. Corrigan and Breach combining. Still with the advantage. So they can entertain here if they want, or they can just barrel forwards through Beckett's. Joe James calls short. Saracens told to leave it, to allow Gloucester-Hartpury to go again, to hunt for their 4th of this final.
Use the line.
We know how effective Lynn can be. What did he say at half-time? Well, probably something along the lines of get Alex Matthews the ball and let one of the best to ever do it do the rest.
Well, it was a quality kick from Natasha Hunt that looked like it was going to be a 50-22, but brilliantly kept in by Jess Breach. And here we go, just have another little look at it. Jumps out of field, taps it back in. But they are just having a little check to make sure. But
Joe, we're going to have to slow this down and do a formal review. I think it's
just going to review whether or not this is in touch or not. But Alex Matthews to finish that off.
We're just going to double check this, okay? Okay, Dan,
you mentioned it.
So,
Gloucester-Hartpury always come out in the second half, absolutely firing.
So she starts from in touch and it crosses the plane of touch.
Okay, so it should be it's going to be a Gloucester ball, correct? Because it was a 50-22,
yeah,
wasn't it?
it's a 50-22, correct,
okay.
yeah.
All right,
so foot's on the line, it crosses the plane of touch.
So she's already out
so it's
there,
in touch.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
No try. It's going to be a line out here, guys. I'll just explain it. Keep the time off, guys. I'm just going to explain it. Yeah. Lottie. Mo.
Just have a listen here to the referee for the explanation here.
So because she's in touch, okay, and the ball crosses the plane of touch, it's out, but it was a 50-22, so it'd be your line out, no try, okay?
It's the first time Jess Breach will have hoped that she got one of those wrong in her whole career, because that has ridiculously only ended up benefiting Saracens.
Okay, time on, thanks, Frank.
But Neve Jones finds Bethan Lewis. Gloucester-Hartpury's maul, which when it clicks is nigh on unstoppable, comes up against an equally unstoppable force in Saracens' forward pack. Sharp with her body on the line to upend Heard, and then quick service onto Aldcroft, and Maud Muir will go one better. Prop on the loose. Full razzle-dazzle from the circus. And they hit the front for the first time since Kate Williams opened their account oh so long ago.
Well, that was Gloucester-Hartpury at their best. Really strong set piece round the corner. Zoe Aldcroft getting both hands free. You can see defensively, Saracens trying to put two in the tackle every time to slow it down. But you've got to lock up that ball if you're going to go two in. And Maud Muir powers through. Can't believe it. And she's got all of her bench there to celebrate with her. But brilliant, again, start from Gloucester-Hartpury out of the blocks and into the lead.
I tell you what, the quality of Gloucester-Hartpury's attacking breakdown, certainly in that phase, but all game has been phenomenal. We know the threat that Saracens pose in terms of jackal threats over the ball. Marley Packer had tried to have a sniff at that one, but they're just not giving them an opportunity at the moment.
No problem, yeah, no worries.
The greatest show is ringing out around the StoneX, just in case you can't hear it. And I'll tell you what, these are the hottest tickets in town right about now. 3 points separating first and second in the table. Two sides with 5 titles between them. The best attacks, the best defences in the league, star-studded squads. This is what it is all about. Harrison takes matters into her own hands, thinks that she might have been impeded there as she set off after her own contestable kick. But it's Venner with it now. Desperately trying to make it over that halfway line, and she does. Aldcroft finds Beckett. There's a mismatch. 𝗟𝗂𝗃 finds herself with more than a handful.
That's carried back, no 50-22.
Well, look, worked last time for Hunt. And it's done so again. Carried backwards, so no 50-22, but massive territorial gain there.
Yeah, it's a brilliant kick. Mo Hunt just picking her head at Mia Venner, always on the same page. Sophie Bridger just can't cover that much space. So when you get into those sort of kick battles and the backfields get a little bit disrupted, Zoe Harrison had chased, obviously, that chip forward. But again, putting the pressure on Gloucester-Hartpury.
Mackenzie Carson, wearing 17, is on. She's won titles with the Wolfpack. She's won titles with the Circus. She'll be on defensive detail now because that line-out has returned to the women in black with their backs pressed against their own whitewash. Poppy Cleal somehow clings onto that one. It's back into the pocket, and Harrison lashes that into the stands before us.
Although Gloucester-Hartpury, sorry, Harrison not too clear with the distance, not happy with the distance on that one, but clearly Gloucester-Hartpury second half looking to pin Saracens very much in their own half and deep in their 22.
No, not 10 if you're not in, 10.
Safely down, courtesy of Aldcroft, and Williams still full of running. Makes her way up and towards Clifford, who tackles at 93%, the young tight head, but it's a loose head making headlines now. Loose head on loose head, in fact, because 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏 was tasked with hauling down Carson at a ground she used to call her own. Delicately, over the top from George, sits up for Emma Singh, can't quite gather. Oh, it's pell-mell stuff.
We'll come back.
We'll come back for the advantage.
Yeah.
But there's been a discernible shift in confidence levels towards the side on your screens now.
Yeah, there certainly has. They're just being really direct, really physical.
In 15, mate, yeah.
Carson's come on and really injected some pace into it. And this was a lovely option. Great work from 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝐽 George there, just to recognise that space in behind. Just seeing on any other day, she's taking that and running in. But Saracens still not out of the danger zone yet. Came back for that penalty advantage.
I'll have a word with them as well.
It's the quarterfinals of the UEFA Women's Champions League next week, and we'll be bringing you every game live here on TNT. Real Madrid versus Arsenal on Tuesday night. That should be a cracker. And then it's an all-WSL affair in Manchester between City and last year's semi-finalists, Chelsea. Neve Jones on to Matthews.
Don't change from there, 8.
And if Cherries had tails, they would be up right about now, because just look at that Cherry pack marching and hurtling over. And Neve Jones has got the Stoneoak sounding a little bit like Queen's Home right about now. What a purple patch from the reigning champions.
So clinical from the driving maul set piece. Neve Jones there. Saracens trying to do all that they can to hold it up, but then it shifts. And look, you've got 4 Saracens players trying to get back to stop that momentum. No chance of doing so. Maud Muir right at the front, leading the charge. And in the end, Saracens run out too much ground. But you certainly feel a huge shift in momentum from Gloucester-Hartpury into this second quarter.
That's 15 seconds.
Having a tough day off the tee is Emma Singh, so it will remain 27-19, but one directional the second half.
Yeah, and it's all come from Gloucester-Hartpury's ability to be in the right areas of the field. Look at Maud Muir go there. She knows she's not going to have her name on the team sheet, but someone behind her is if she puts in the effort. But yeah, it's all just come from that Gloucester-Hartpury ability to be in the right areas of the field and control that territory.
Inside.
I want that of Maud Muir as my lock screen on a canvas in my kitchen. That is absolutely magnificent.
Line's yours, guys, yeah, thank you.
Just 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝐽 George there giving the thumbs up. You just notice on those 2 tries, been really clinical on their exit. Let's not overplay, let's not force anything, let's kick back down and then put the pressure back on Saracens.
Back.
Everything going the way of Gloucester-Hartpury, and Muir is pulling more facials and taking out more Saracens over that 10-metre line. Hannah Jones finding Hendy. Look at the speed out on the wing there. Hendy and Singh, and now the little dribble through, testing another speedster in 𝗏𝗏𝗃. How casual was that one-handed pass to Sharp? Clattered as she looked to straighten and deliver a little bit of velocity of her own.
Back foot.
We have not looked left since this second half got underway. That is what this champion side can do. They've been cashing checks ever since they emerged from the sheds, from the break. Harrison kicking into the wind now, doesn't find touch. So they reset. Flying up was Bridger, who just about clings to the jersey of Venner.
Yeah, that's fine, thank you, Marley. Both dropping.
Neve Jones gets low. That looped out and forwards. Catching the breeze there from 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝐽 George as Alex Austerberry makes his first tactical changes of the afternoon. McKinley Hunt, who's played in finals before for Exeter Chiefs, is on for 𝗥𝗏𝗄𝐽, and Sydney Gregson joins us. Another one who knows these pinnacles. 2 finals, she's played in black, the Red Rose. She's on for Emma Hardy.
Looks like they're going to have a quick check here. TMO's come in, potentially regarding a head contact.
Lovely. I'm going to show you the actions of Gloucester on tackle on Saracens 8.
Okay.
So we're looking here for direct head contact onto
Dan,
𝗂𝗶𝗄𝐽𝐿
so
from
we
Alex
do have
Matthews.
head contact there from 8, right?
Yeah,
shoulder
that's
to
correct.
head. There is, for me, quite a lot of force going through the shoulder as well as the head. And we do have foul play because 8 is upright and they could be lower. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
So we do have foul play. There is, so we just need to check if there's any mitigation there, mate. So full
Dan
speed if you
Jones,
can.
our TMO, watching on
Yeah,
for
that
us.
was your full speed.
Fine, okay, so she has clear line of sight. I don't see any mitigation there. So we have foul play and it's going to be a yellow card. I don't see that as high danger. Through the body, yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
What's the number, mate? It's
Yeah, it's back on you.
yeah. It's going to be a yellow card. Come back over.
So the referees just deemed that as medium level of danger. That's why it's the entry of a late yellow card. But this could be a real pivotal moment now for Saracens. You heard 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝐽𝐿 appealing for it.
Well, Gloucester-Hartpury,
I didn't see it as high danger. I saw quite a bit of force through the body and then into the head as well. So that's why it's a yellow card.
squeaky clean on the penalty count. Just 8 conceded against Bristol in their semi-final. But where they struggle is yellow cards. That's their 12th of the campaign. That puts them top of the log that no one wants to be astride. So again, and losing Hunt and Matthews, 2 legitimately world-class leaders within their squad. Galligan brings that down. And it's a Gloucester-Hartpury defensive set, lacking their number 8. Alex Matthews, who is nothing short of heroic every time she plays, and the pressure tells because now Saracens can release the handbrake through Bridger and then Harrison. And here's Corrigan, well read by Venner. What a game she's having. Breach has Sharp to her left, but opts to go it all alone, and she draws in Jones and Heard, and Venner manages the steal, so we'll come back for the penalty.
As a quality one-handed steal there from Venner, so quick over the ball.
Well, fascinating to get the thoughts now of Sean Lynn, who is alongside Ashley Wilmot, no doubt wearing shorts.
Yes, Claire, he is wearing shorts, I can confirm. Look, Sean, what have you made of the second half? Because you really have come out firing.
Yeah, it was just at half-time. I just said to the girls that we think there is space out there in the first half, and we were just trying to force it, which isn't us. And then we're playing a little bit more of the territorial game. I think the kicks from Mo has just kept us on the front foot, and we're putting Saracens under some good pressure.
2 yellow cards, though, Sean. What have you made of those?
Yeah, look, it's the game of rugby, isn't it? And we've just got to control and adapt as well as we can.
What do you want to see from your team with the momentum behind you now?
Yeah, just making sure now in this 10 minutes that we can gather momentum. Let's not let Saracens come back into this game, and see if we can stretch this 8-point lead to maybe 13-15.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Good to speak to you.
Lovely, thank you.
What a run by Maud Muir yet again. We missed that just while we were listening to Sean Lynn talk. But an unbelievable carry by Maud Muir just through the middle, giving 15-20 metres upfield for Gloucester-Hartpury.
Yeah, it looks like Saracens there on their line out, going for a bit of going for the ball at the back, high risk, low reward, and then Maud Muir literally mops up at the back. Also completely swipes 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝐽𝐿 away, which is no easy feat. Gets really good yardage, and then, as spoken, Natasha Hunt just kicking the ball over the top, then forcing that pressure. Look at that, 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝐽𝐿 just way too high on such a powerful athlete.
Maud Muir, simply magical off-field. She's cultural ambrosia. We know she dressed up as Taylor Swift for the girls ahead of last year's final to quell the nerves. She waxes their eyebrows before games. She lets them play bucking bronco on her before their Tuesday team meetings with their kit bags. And she took Sean Lynn's kids out for Halloween this year dressed as a witch. But we sometimes talk so much about what she brings to the environment that we forget, or we're at risk of forgetting, that she's a world-class tight head, and her involvements in the last 10 minutes, game-changer.
Oh, unbelievable. She's got an all-court game on the field. Her ability to carry, as we've just seen, but to handle, to offer herself around the park. She's super physical, but also super athletic. And it's awesome to be seeing the very best of her this afternoon.
a transformative signing for Gloucester-Hartpury in 2022, arriving with Sam Monaghan, Alex Matthews, who watches on, remember. Still plenty of time left on that yellow card.
Down by red here at the front.
And yet, it's Gloucester-Hartpury with the ball in Saracens 22, and Mo Hunt really being forced to wrestle that ball free. Stolen by Saracens.
She gets through the middle, and it's down by red at the front, this player here.
No, I am, yeah? Number 8.
Oh, as you would imagine, bit of chat going on in amongst the two teams. Natasha Hunt pleading to the referee that Saracens have brought down that illegally, but clearly to the referee, not what he had seen. There's a big let-off there for Gloucester-Hartpury.
Nah, she's legal through the middle there, and actually your player falls over her own feet at the front. Wasn't a patch.
Well, the run in gets up and running next Friday in the Gallagher Premiership, and with a quintet of derbies, Saints Tigers, that's some curtain raiser. There's no love lost between Sarries and Harlequins, and we're all hoping it's another 86-point 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝐽𝐿 between Bath and Gloucester on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, you guys find the spaces, okay?
The shed heads shipped down the motorway ahead of this one, making themselves heard as Saracens faithful also sing their songs.
Okay? No, it's not a competition to get to the bind, okay? You need to allow her to get in, okay? Let's go.
Alex Matthews, a bystander,
You've got to allow an
Gloucester-Hartpury,
opportunity to get in there.
with a searing third quarter to put themselves in the driver's seat of this final. Saracens, with 80 metres to go, a long run for home. Looking to drive home the player advantage they have.
Use it!
It's a rock-solid platform, and up rises Poppy Cleal, who disdainfully fends off Hunt, places it backwards. 𝗏𝗏𝐻 snags by Hunt.
It's in a tackle.
Who knocks it on, so we will have a cookie cutter set
Ball's
play.
lifted there, Poppy. She's onside.
It's just starting to get a little bit edgy, isn't it? Which we love. Saracens know now, they're certainly not in the realms of having to chase a game, but they've got to get a bit of a move on in terms of getting good field position, trying to change that momentum swing.
They also want to take advantage of this yellow card as well. We saw in the first half, couldn't quite be as accurate as they wanted to, and actually conceded during that period. But that clock is ticking away, and they're still deep in their own 22.
By their own admission, this season, Saracens have been the hunters, not the hunted. So on a micro level, can they do that now? With the PWR crown on the line. That kick will certainly help.
It's a super steady scrum as well from Gloucester-Hartpury with only 7 players in it. Saracens always a team that you consider as a strength at both set-piece areas. Zoe Harrison again, just understanding and realising they just need to start building a bit of territorial pressure, get themselves in an area where they can now potentially compete, have a go at some breakdowns, get themselves the ball back.
Come on.
Yeah, and you can see here just some discussion going on, obviously with Alex Matthews off, who's one of the jumpers. So it might make it an easier read here for Saracens to be able to get up and compete.
Safe as houses from Aldcroft, and then a familiar pass, and Neve Jones in at the back.
Once.
Pip Hendy jogs round, but for now keeping it close and personal is Heard. Eventually she stops, and Marley Packer has eyes for the steal there, but they get it away.
No, yeah. Thank you, Poppy.
To the skies. Through the boots of the Welsh fly-half. Just breach with a little bit of space, with a little bit of a run-up. She doesn't need much to prove utterly devastating. We all remember what she did against Harlequins just a fortnight ago on this very rubber crumb. 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝐻 picking out Clifford, playing for her girlhood club, speaking about the nerves in the week, and that's why, because that's what Gloucester-Hartpury can do. Brilliant one-handed take from Williams, less brilliant, but equally rising was Singh, scragged by Senft, not quite, still going, upended by Poppy Cleall. Aldcroft screaming for it on the short side, she ships it on to Muir, who's a woman possessed at the moment. Williams into Packer.
No advantage, we'll come back for the not 10.
Steel on granite, but back for the penalty. And things have broken up. Hasn't made them any less intense. It's only made things a little bit more nerve-wracking.
Yeah, but all of a sudden you felt that momentum swing for Saracens, playing really flat, 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝗏, you know, carrying to the line. But then Neve Jones over the ball, and any team with a player in the bin, you would expect them to slow this down, kick to the corner. But Mo Hunt recognising lots of Sarries bodies around her. Let's get an extra 10.
One on the card.
It really is starting to open up now, isn't it?
And you know what's really fun? We talked about Gloucester-Hartpury loving quarter-3. No side all season has scored more in the final 20 than Saracens.
Here we go then, let's build it up. Yeah, look, you could just see then, Rachel just touched on it, Saracens was starting to find some really good gaps. Gloucester-Hartpury at 6s and 7s a little bit, leaving dog legs here and there. 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗂 able to start sniping around. So again, with Saracens not quite chasing the game yet, but certainly wanting to get on the scoreboard next, we could be in for a cracking last 20.
Yeah, and having been on the end of those results where you're in the lead, you feel very comfortable, and then in that last 20, Saracens just find another gear, find another level.
They're good at making sides uncomfortable, Saracens, but it's them at disarray now. This is Gloucester-Hartpury's 12th visit to the 22. Although they've made a right dog's dinner of that one, and look at May Campbell celebrate.
Yeah, that's Kelsey Clifford right in the thick of that, recognises that Neve Jones is just coming off to the break on the right-hand side and then latches onto the ball.
Bethan Lewis is done. Her contribution to this final is over. Back on rolls Alex Matthews and also Georgia Brock. Emily, you know her well, you play with the English flanker. What does she bring at this stage of a fixture?
A lot of energy. Look, one of her biggest and greatest strengths is her ability over the ball at breakdowns and her ability to turn over. So I'm sure she'll be wanting to sniff around a lot of those. But the important thing is when you come off the bench and you're full of energy is to time that correctly. You don't want to be flying in at everything. You want to pick and choose appropriately and pick the ones that are staring you in the face. So, yeah, she'll be wanting to add a lot of energy to this Gloucester-Hartpury side.
Look at the shove. Look at the reception for Poppy Cleall, but she somehow smuggled it onto Gabby Senft, who spent some of her season playing international 7s for Canada. She's got pace, but she was stopped in her tracks there. Ball knocked on.
It's impressive work from Poppy Cleall at the back of that base, just to get a bit of momentum, a bit of go forward when she was being absolutely hounded. Here, you just talked about energy off the bench. Alex Matthews had a 10-minute rest, Brock as well, but manages to find a way and find Sent. Really good work, but still hunger and hustle there from Gloucester-Hartpury.
Set.
17 minutes, 8 points in it.
Okay. Guys, I need both your binds higher. It's not a competition to get to the bind. Both your binds higher. Let's go.
Gloucester-Hartpury pride themselves on their identity. They are warrior queens. It's what they live by. Their clarity, their cohesion, their sense of family. Mud monsters has been what Lynn has told them to channel this campaign. I asked Alex Austerberry in the week what Saracens were, and he said, you know what, we'll just stick with Saracens. That served us pretty well to date. They're coming up. against an opponent they've never met in a final before, and at the moment they are being found wanting.
Yeah, it's a real challenge, isn't it? They've been camped in this half of the field the entire second half so far. It's almost like get Bridger on the ball, carry hard, and then you've got your support in with Signe Gredson off the back of the scrum with Poppy Clearmiley just to clear up, look after, and then find the boot of Zoe Harrison. You're not going to win playing in this half. Real frustration, simple error that you don't normally see from Signe Gredson, and we've seen how good she can hit those lines and break through. When you've been under that much pressure, you almost want to just settle.
Almighty shove, the first scrum penalty we've seen of this final. What a time for it. What a time for Gloucester-Hartpury to flex their collective muscles and find Pip Hendy on an arcing run.
No advantage, we'll go back, scrum.
Well, we talked about how in the scrum it's been fairly even, but you just think how much is it taken out of Saracens, having to defend so much, trying to work their way out of it. And that added addition with Alex Matthews back in that pack as well.
Let's go, guys. Decision.
Well, you can just see Natasha Heard and Zoe Aldcroft come together just to try and figure out what they want the decision to be at this point. If they did go for points, I don't think it really changes what Saracens have got to do, which is why they're heading for the corner, keep possession, keep that clock ticking down.
And that really telling, because we were 4 apiece in the dying stages of the first 40. We know that when Saracens are chasing a game, they double their penalty count in the second half of matches, and this, them twisting the knife themselves.
10, please, most day.
Need to stick to task, need to stymie this one, and they almost do through Rosie Galligan.
I've got nothing clear there, mate. OK, off their head, off their head.
They've made it scrappy, but still Gloucester-Hartpury through acting scrum half Mia Venner. Now here comes a real scrum half, Mo Hunt. Are 10 metres from a 6th try of this final. Saracens haven't scored in this second half. They need something, need to find something.
First person there takes the ball.
Hands all over it, and what a turnover that is. For Saracens, they have it.
No hands! Ball's here.
And Packer buys 𝗂𝗏𝗲 the space to pick out Harrison. Hoists that one high for Singh, who looks up, sees what might be a foot and decides to find Hendy instead. This Carson, no look pass onto a squirming Matthews.
No way.
Georgia Evans not quick enough to get out of the way. So, Gloucester-Hartpury
Advantage, side entry and off feet.
can hurl everything at this next passage of attacking play, and Heard does just that.
Backwards.
Hunt finding Beckett, loops over the top to Venner, scampers back in against the grain, slippery as an eel. Stopped 4 metres short.
Still under advantage.
Aldcroft is there, and Muir and Brock. Look at the Titans queuing up, eager to get themselves on the score sheet, eager to help the Circus towards a 3rd straight title. Beckett,
Use the line.
close as you can be. Blades of grass the difference here. Muir wants it. Muir has it, and over she will go. No, deterred. Another advantage. These penalties are starting to mount.
Use it.
Saracens becoming their own worst enemies as the cherry and white wave crashes over. Was that the moment? Was that the moment that the 2025 Premiership was settled? And if so, it could hardly have gone to a more fitting try scorer than Mo Hunt.
It's so good from Gloucester-Hartpury. They just knock on the door, knock on the door, knock on the door, and eventually too much power really tells. That's a lovely interplay there. Sarah Beckett tries to give it the big one. Mia Venner, I think, has been brilliant all game. Fantastic carry again from her. And you think the Saracens' defence is holding up as well as it possibly can, considering the carriers that Gloucester-Hartpury have. but at some point you just felt the dam was going to break. And Mo Hunt's the one who
15 seconds, okay.
always has a little eye on what's happening very close to that breakdown and plops herself over.
She's going to love that description.
That will have felt good for Emma Singh, compounding Saracens' woes as Mo Hunt scores her 7th try of the season and her 4th in her last 10 outings.
Got everyone you need, guys, yeah.
Saracens really need to do better around that breakdown. Senf there, thinking about the tip pass on the outside, and Mo just catches her napping.
Advantage, knock on.
But so much of that pressure has come from Saracens not being able to get out of their own half, not being able to secure ball, and then those compounding those errors. And as you spoke about earlier on, Claire, when you start compounding errors against a brilliant Gloucester-Hartpury team, they end up in points and they multiply and multiply.
Okay, accept the bind and keep it high.
The try scorer, the co-captain, the kingpin, make that queen pin of this Gloucester-Hartpury side. Mo Hunt calling for calm. We still need to manage this. Mia Venner is off. Rachel Lund is on. Fresh legs in a backfield that are going to be sorely tested because Sarah McKenna has joined the fray, and it's her little netball pass from the deck which finds Harrison and subsequently Corrigan. There she is with the clear out. 𝗂𝗏𝗂 on to Poppy Cleal. 9 finding 8, making ground. Harrison. What a shot! What a pile driver from Maud Muir. Pulling up trees in North London. But going backwards here, Saracens. They need a game-breaking moment, and they've got game breakers out there. Here is one of them. What can 𝗥𝗲𝗃𝐽 do when they need her most?
No, don't go in, don't go in.
Harrison on to Cleal, back switching up the point of attack. They've not been into the Gloucester-Hartpury 22 all second half. Still hunting for their first points of this passage as Georgia Brock pops up with the ball. Jones finds Lynn, who loves a stage.
Too long, up feet.
Rachel Lund
Okay, up we get.
scored in the final at 𝗂𝗏𝗃 in 2023 when this side were crowned champions for the very first time. There's a leg stretched out from the breakdown there, synchronised swimming-esque. They're cruising right now, Gloucester-Hartpury. Bridges carry. Poppy Cleal. Georgia Evans not giving up this fight, not just yet.
Still under advantage.
Clifford finding McKenna. And this is leg sapping, lung sapping stuff for Saracens. Side to side they go, but not much impetus, nothing going forward. It's a Gloucester-Hartpury defensive line just happy to soak things up.
On the 15, just inside the Gloucester half. Yeah.
Disrupts the 9. East-west, please.
Start to get the feeling now Saracens have to strike from this.
Yeah.
They've got to get a score on the board now if they stand any chance of giving themselves an opportunity for a really tight run-in.
Line's yours, guys.
Just check out that textbook tackle under the ball, reads it so well and completely stops the collision, which then stops that momentum for Saracens. She's had a stormer of a game, whether it's with the ball in hand, running through the midfield, or it's defensively. It's been a quality effort.
Well, any good circus has its tumblers, and Maud Muir has been so energetic, so entertaining, as Saracens managed to get the ball back after losing a 5th line out of this final. We wondered if it might prove an Achilles heel. And that's exactly what it has turned out to be.
Another really good kick from Mo Hunt there, but it was all about the chase. There was 6 or 7 red shirts all in and around the ball. And you just feel that hunger. They can taste victory, but they know that they can't rest back on this against this Saracen side, because they can come back, they can strike from anywhere.
Okay, allow the bind to keep the height. Crouch! Bind! Set! Stay there, no. Use!
Saracens simply must score. The defensive hustle in there from Pip Hendy. We're good at enjoying ourselves, she said about this group. They can't afford to enjoy themselves just yet, because Hunt has it. And Saracens still continue to poke and probe and look for chinks in this most vaunted of defensive armour, but they're still going backwards as the 223s clatter up against one another. Gregson on Lund, Senft now.
Stripped by red, it's
Just
a
a mounting sense of fatigue about the work of the women in black, and that about sums it up. And 2 more changes from Sean Lynn into the final moments now of his stewardship of this championship winning side. Steph Else is on, entering the fray. Neve Jones also leaving the field, which means that with us is Gillian Boag, the Canadian. 2 absolute warriors in Beckett, in Jones. As 𝗟𝗂𝐿𝐵𝐻𝐿 shakes her head, knowing that the writing is on the wall here in North London. Jess Breach was on the short side there, but they've called something here, Saracens, and wide they go. Beautiful pass from Bridger to Corrigan, who is capable of moments of sumptuous defence decimating action. She's gained them 20, 30 metres has the Olympian. 𝗂𝐿 adds another 2 to that. In over it is her sister, Bryony 𝗂𝐿 is on now, to bring a little bit of muscle to proceedings.
Let it come, Red!
Bryony Field pushes that one backwards. Harrison finds Gregson. All the leg drive in the world, but no match for Georgia Brock. We know how potent she can prove in these closing stages. Remember what she did at Ashton Gate against Bristol Bears. 30 minutes where she was a law unto herself. Bridger eventually stymied by Hendy. But at this point, they can sit back and ride these black jerseyed waves, Gloucester-Hartpury. They are moments away from a three-peat, a feat which no one has achieved since Richmond back in 2012. And they'll have done it at the home of Saracens. Back inside from Harrison, on to Bryony 𝗂𝐿. Over the ball, Georgia Brock, illegally so they go quickly. Poppy 𝗂𝐿 finding herself, looking to put some pride back into this second 40, which has been so dominated by the West Country outfit. Harrison winds up. Corrigan chases the bouncing ball. Hendy chases Corrigan.
Backwards.
And somehow the ball remains in play. These final 2 minutes, and still Marley Packer. Senft, who has also put in a whole heap of work today, swimming up current for the last 40. Hunt on to McKenna. Shot made by Boag. This now 𝗂𝐿. Gregson is there, and Breach with Lund to beat back into her teammate in Gregson. Time is very much against Saracens now. And you can hear the cheers. And that will be that, courtesy of the limpet that is Georgia Brock before the delighted circus performers.
Time off, 9 and 12.
Well, you hear those cheers because they've done enough now to claim this victory. But just quality defence from Gloucester-Hartpury, double tackles but not competing at every breakdown, so it just means more numbers on their feet. Saracens running out of options, running out of ideas. Saw a lot of passes going to floor.
Okay. Time on.
Hunt and Heard leave the field of battle. What contributions they have made. How long ago it feels that Mo Hunt, bereft, was watching on from a Watt bike, wondering if that yellow card might have proven decisive, but no. And in true Gloucester-Hartpury style, Lynn gives a few moments out on the pitch to Meg Davies and Ellie Green, new signings this campaign, who've played their part in topping the table for the 3rd straight year, in finding themselves at the pinnacle of the club game. Boag to the base. Here now is Davies. Green is calling for it. He's played in finals, in quarters. From Harlequins to Worcester, to Trailfinders, and now to Gloucester-Hartpury, which is coincidentally where the PWR trophy will be headed.
17. Advantage. 17 offside.
A penalty goes the way of Gloucester-Hartpury, and it's one of the women in red who will be receiving the 𝗟𝗏𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐴 Player of the Match award, and Rachel Burford, you have the pleasure of talking us through your shortlist and then giving out the flowers.
Yeah, I think just a word from Saracens. I think Poppy Cleall's been excellent. She's been involved in so much. But for me, it's all been about the pack and Maud Muir. She's been fantastic in her carrying ability, but also defensively, leading the charge on that driving maul as well, which probably was the one that secured that momentum for them. So Maud Muir is our 𝗟𝗏𝐿𝐴𝐴 Player of the Match.
The gong has sounded, and listen to West Country voices raised at the StoneX as the circus pull off their most dazzling, audacious trick yet, and the three-peat is theirs. They have downed Saracens in the Londoners' own backyard in a season finale which was enthralling for 40 and then dominant for another. Zoe Aldcroft and Mo Hunt will yet again raise the PWR trophy, and these warrior queens will wave off Lynn over the Severn Bridge as a 3-time Premiership winning coach. He said in the week that winning would mean everything. Well, here is how everything looks. And at the end of an 80 minutes, which demanded everything, and then some. Full time in North London, Gloucester-Hartpury, the circus, 34, Saracens, 19. Rachel Burford, Emily Scarrett, we gave this the big billing, and it is safe to say that at least for the first 40, we were treated this afternoon.
Certainly was. I think this game really lived up to the expectations, the back and forth. That first 40 minutes, really couldn't say who was going to end up on top at the end of this game. Some brilliant rugby, individually played, but also collectively. It's been a brilliant PWR season and an epic final as well.
Oh, that first half was awesome. I think we all wanted it to be the very best final that we've ever seen, and both teams certainly gave it everything that they possibly did. I think it probably just typified towards the end of the game there, just with the Gloucester-Hartpury defensive effort. Saracens were throwing everything they possibly had left at them, and they just stood strong, stood firm, and have claimed themselves a 3rd PWR title in a row. And there's some awesome scenes going on down there at the moment.
Lynn was asked a few days ago if he had a message for the supporters of Gloucester-Hartpury, what would it be? And he said, bring Queens home to the StoneX. It is safe to say, as the wider squad members dance, some of the Hartpury University girls out there on pitch, all in pink, and Lynn at last allows himself to wipe away a tear or two. They brought the Pink Pony Club and the circus besides to Barnet. Well, she's an absolute joy to watch on every occasion, and what a performance she produced with the title on the line. She's getting hugs, of course she is. She's impossible to get a word with, but at last she is heading back towards Ashley Wilmot. No, she's not. There she is. Ashley, just grab her. Go on, we want to hear from Maud Muir.
Okay, I will. I want to get in on this. Maud, I know you want to hug everyone. I'm not surprised. Just a congratulations, firstly. Oh, nice kiss there from Bryony. Look, it's very emotional here. Everyone's singing a bit of chaperone. You've just gone and made history. You're the three-peat winners. What does it mean to you? Just spin around for me.
Sorry. Oh, it's just incredible. Like the whole squad, I love them all. Every single one of them, they're incredible. Oh, they're such a great group of girls, and I'm so proud of every single one of them.
And to make history, to beat Saracens at the StoneX, I mean, that's something.
Yeah, it is. We had to work for it. They pushed us really, really hard. But yeah, overall pride, and yeah, I just love this group.
What was the difference between the first half and the second half? Because you were 4 points down at half-time, but you didn't concede a point in the second half.
Did we not? No. I don't even know, to be fair. We were just us in the second half. We knew we weren't even 10% of what we were in that first half. I can't even think straight. Sorry. Oh, my gosh.
Just quickly.
As Lynn and his wife.
As you can see, Sean Lynn and his wife, Vicky, hugging in the middle of that huddle. Just quickly, Maud, a word on Sean Lynn. This is his last game with Gloucester-Hartpury. What's he done to this team in the 5 years he's been with them?
He's made this team. We love him, and he's everything. Yeah, we love Lynn.
Big celebrations tonight?
Yeah. I mean, tomorrow evening. I don't know how we're going to do that, but we're celebrating.
Six Nations round the corner. Well done today. You are 𝗟𝗏𝐽𝐵 player of the match. Go and celebrate.
To have lost in this manner in their own backyard, a place where so few visitors taste success, will hurt, no doubt, for Marley Packer and the rest of the Wolfpack like nothing else. 𝗟𝗏𝐿𝐴 allowed herself to imagine in the week what a fairy tale ending this would be to their season, but today they came up against the dominant force in the women's club game as that shutout second 40 epitomised. Our presentation team for this one: Genevieve Shaw, Executive Chair of the PWR, and Deborah Griffin, OBE, Senior Vice President of the RFU. And medals of a very unfamiliar colour for Poppy Cleall, for Marley Packer, for Lottie Sharp, athletes who have tasted success on so many occasions. And their wait for a first title since 2022 will rumble on. But the circus, this all-singing, all-dancing circus, have yet again plonked their big top right on top of the PWR podium and extend their reign over the English game. They called this season at one point a crisis, but from here it's looked a little bit like a masterclass in peaking to perfection. Sean Lynn says there is something about this group. The first three-peat since Richmond between 2009 and 2012. 3 topped tables, and as of today, they have never lost a final. Consider the cheque well and truly cashed, as Zoe Aldcroft and Mo Hunt get their hands back on a piece of silverware that they have come to call their own, a piece of silverware that considers itself these days a shed head. Because Gloucester-Hartpury are your 2025 Premiership Women's Rugby champions. The Warrior Queens and the King of Hartpury, the scriptwriters have outdone themselves. And here he comes. Two decades at Hartpury, and for Kathryn Buggy, a wonderful career, an Irish cap, a barbarian, a Premiership champion. As the rest of this special group, this family, proverbial and literal, arrive before the podium and the celebrations begin in earnest. More than 50 of Shaun Lynn's family and friends bussed over from Swansea today for this occasion, and I think it's safe to say it was well worth the trip.